Hi, I'm Stephen Jarvi. I'm the Associate Conductor of the Kansas City Symphony, and I'm here with a concert preview for the third week of our classical series concerts, where we feature music by the composer Hugo Wolf in his Italian Serenade, a piece that you don't get to hear that often. Wolf is usually a composer you associate with songs, so beautiful music from him. We go on to have James Tocco join us, wonderful pianist playing Samuel Barber's Piano Concerto, and we end the program with a large-scale work by Hector Berlioz called Herald in Italy, where we feature our principal violist, Christine Grossman, and I'm here with her talking about the piece Herald in Italy by Hector Berlioz, one of my favorite composers, a very colorful, animated composer. So this is a piece that's not necessarily a concerto, right?
No. It's a very unique piece, actually. It's a little bit hard to explain, actually. It was written for Paganini. He had recently bought a viola, a Strad.
Paganini, of course, like one of the great
virtuosic violinists
of all time.
And he did play viola, and I'm sure he played it quite well. And he felt that there was no suitable repertoire for him to play on a viola, so he asked Berlioz to write a piece for him. And legend has it that he actually was surprised as Berlioz showed him, I think, the first movement, some of the initial sketches, and Paganini, it wasn't exactly what he'd had in mind. I think he told Berlioz it was not exactly what he had in mind, and he wasn't quite, I think potentially maybe it wasn't as virtuosic as he was looking for. But Berlioz continued to write it, and it's not a concerto, it's very much sort of a symphonic work with the solo viola as a character who's sort of wandering through this orchestral landscape that the symphony has set, symphony orchestra has set, and so it's a very interesting piece. There are 4 movements, and it was actually not premiered by Paganini.
So he ditched this idea completely.
I think so. I think he, not clear on why he didn't premiere it, but he didn't premiere it. But then a couple of years later, he did perform it and loved it and ended up loving it. And so I think it came to a happy resolution, and Paganini was happy with it. But I think at first it was not what he was expecting, and it is a very unique piece. It's kind of hard to describe.
Is the first movement difficult? Is it virtuosic in the way, can you tell that it was being written for somebody like Paganini when you play? Or was that the problem for him?
I would not describe it as virtuosic. It's actually the main theme, the main melody that recurs in many instruments, but also very much in the viola, is a very simple, beautiful, very simple tune that actually almost sounds like you've heard it before somewhere. It's a very just pleasing, simple tune, and that gets repeated in many different ways throughout the piece. And the viola has this simple tune a lot of times and different, incarnations, but
so the tune kind of represents the hero character in a way.
Yes, he's described as a melancholy wanderer, and that's very much what I think. The viola was a very good choice, actually, because the viola has a strength, but it also has a vulnerability.
And melancholy is probably one of the first words that comes to mind when people talk about that quality, that kind of darker, more covered quality of the viola. This music is so interesting because I think we were talking earlier about how this music is kind of ahead of its time. And the other piece that comes to mind when you think of an orchestral feature like this is maybe Don Quixote by Strauss. And this predates that completely. Berlioz seems to have this penchant for creating a hero in a story. With Symphony Fantastique, he kind of had a melody that was the hero and a melody that was the lover. Is the melody in this the hero always, or is there other things that are kind of introduced by you, the viola? Are you always playing incarnations of the hero?
I think it's actually remains pretty unchanged. I would say it's constant throughout.
And then the orchestra represents some different kind of landscapes that you as the viola hero travel through.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And you're right about I think Berlioz did, he was the first to establish a solo instrument as a particular character, and this came before, like you said, Don Quixote. It came before Scheherazade. So it is a milestone, and of course Berlioz is a composer that established several milestones for symphonic works. He really he broke barriers.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, Christine. Christine Grossman, our principal violist, can be heard November 19th through 21st with this incredible piece, Harold in Italy by Hector Berlioz. We hope to see you there.